Thanks to everyone who supported us over at patreon.com/boards and swords. Check it out if you want additional content like the pre-show, post-show, bonus bits. Once again, we are live from Swordplay Studios. It's time for Boards and Swords. Boards and Swords! Hold on, I'm just going to Alt-Tab into World of Warcraft here for a second. That's right. This is Boards and Swords. This is a show where we are all about those bad jokes, those good folks, and then with some gaming thrown in. Normally some board gaming, but I have a good feeling this time it's going to be a lot of video game talk. I'm going to apologize to most of you in advance, but that's just how things is. So I'm one of your hosts. My name's Chris Renshaw, and my recovering partner in crime over the internets is Mr. Philip Herbig.
What's going on, everybody? Hello from Gimp City.
But yes, that is that's kind of why we had a couple of weeks off, and this one's actually a little delayed, and I'll try and push the podcast episode out as soon as I can. But yeah, Philip injured his back, and I didn't find out till like right before the show, or like a couple hours before the show started. The last show was supposed to start, and it's like, well, we're not doing the show.
Yep.
And then I had it scheduled to do like a thing with Jimmy and Corey, and then I just never did it. Nothing on them. It was because I'm in a deep World of Warcraft obsession right now. It's not just that, though. It was the fact that I've gotten Chloe hooked back in as well, and she's been wanting to play a lot. And so when it's like recovery podcast or hang out with a child that doesn't always want to hang out with me because, you know, teenagers, I'm going to choose the child.
The child or the asset?
Both? Oh, that reminds me. Are you caught up on WandaVision? Because we'll have to talk about that in the bonus stuff.
I haven't even started.
Oh, okay. All right. We're not going to talk.
Honestly, I kind of wanted to wait until all the episodes came out and then just slam through it.
Long story short, probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So, let's start off. I do have some news. All right, some of these are going to be old.
My fingers were off the home keys.
Oh, you're fine. I just figured it was a delay. These are going to be a little late because I had this all written out for the last one, and I didn't feel like rewriting it because why put good news stories to waste? So you'll get updated news in a week-ish for the next episode. So first story we have is that, hey, if they used reusable materials in the molds for candy bars, would they be considered terraforming Mars bars? And that is, we have Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, the Terraforming Mars card game, which is kind of funny considering Terraforming Mars is a card game.
Yeah, there was a lot of cards.
Yeah. It's a 1 to 4 player design from Sydney Engelstein, and then the people behind Jacob Frixilis, who I know he's the original designer of Terraforming Mars. So it's an engine building game in which players control interplanetary corporations with the goal of making Mars habitable. So there you go, Philip.
It's just terraforming Mars in a different game style.
I'm guessing so. 1 to 4 players. I would imagine, like, because a lot of people say stuff about the problem with Terraforming Mars, it gets kind of long. I would hope they would make this like a 45-minute version of it.
Oh.
Because otherwise, yeah, what's the point?
Hey, did they spell that guy's name right?
Which guy?
Right. No. No. Scroll down.
Are you talking about Philip K. Dick?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
that's. Did they spell it correctly?
Yeah, that's.
Is there one L in that name?
I honestly don't know. I know that it's the guy that did Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Oh, well,
And
right
like
there.
he's done other stuff too. I'm just trying to remember. Apparently, the three stigmata of Palmer Eldritch. Apparently,
Yes, he spells his name with one L. Hey, his middle name is Kindred.
he's a kindred spirit. Then apparently.
Exactly. That's right.
So for this next one, I might have stacked the deck towards Philip. In that I don't want to become a Renegade Society member. Power Rangers deck building game.
It's not a cult.
Have you already pre-ordered this?
No, I did not. And here's my thing, because so like I've played the actual board game twice.
Yep.
And that's about it.
So, but this is Power Rangers, the card game, basically.
Well, yeah, I know. Even though I'm a Renegade Games whore, and I'm gonna buy everything they put out for Power Rangers, I want to play more before I start sinking money into different.
Says the guy that like how many buys every.
I've bought every single expansion for the current game. Yes, but I don't want to buy a completely different game style.
All right. Next we have Wizards wants you.
Come on, man! I'm focusing on the minis.
That's true. I can't fault you for that. Wizards wants you to keep playing D&D this year by announcing Candlekeep Mysteries RPG Adventures. It's a series of pre-made adventures, so kind of like the Tales from the Dawning Portal, where it was a bunch of adventures all in the same book. Okay. This one is going to include adventures for characters of levels 1 to 16, and each adventure begins with the discovery of a book, and each book is the key to a door behind which danger and glory await. They can be run as...
So it's missed.
But the biggest thing they're saying is like they tried to go and get like a lot of new people for writing these, like a lot of diverse and new creators. And there's great. Because I even noticed some of them, like Daniel Kwan in here from like the RPG community in general, like very vocal people in the community. So there is that. Although they're talking like all the they made a big push about like if you just read this press release, you're just like, oh, okay. And then they have like Christopher Perkins in here. But when they did the original announcement in like all their social media pushes, like, hey, we're doing this book with a bunch of new creators. And then you look on the list like, but Chris Perkins is in there. That's not a new creator. Like, I get you got to put a name, he's a big D&D guy and you got to put your name in there. But it's like, we already have like 5 years of Chris Perkins adventures. Like, I'm not knocking it. He's a great designer and a great storyteller. But it's like, if you're going to push that this is all new people. Yeah. But this actually really gave me an idea. I kind of want to, very similar to kind of the premise here, but a little bit more focused, is I want to get together a bunch of people and do like an outline. Everybody gets the same outline where it's like, you got to have this many bosses. This is the overall background of the scenario. Very basic in the sense of hero has to go retrieve this type of item from a dungeon or whatever, and say like design it to be around a 4-hour adventure. It's got to be D&D 5e, and then go and then just have a bunch of people and go and see what everybody comes up with, to where it's very similar premises, but everybody gets to put their own spin and style on it.
Okay, yeah.
So that's I heard that and I was like, man, that would be really cool just to see what differences there are between all the different people. Speaking of D&D, I'll take the initiative on this next one as Corey Konetska asked us to take the initiative. So Corey Konetska is a big former FFG designer. He's a lot of games that, like, if you have a lot of FFG games, if you look in the books, his name is probably in there somewhere.
His name's there? Okay.
Yeah, he was one of their chief...
guy in charge of all the cardboard cutouts, wasn't he?
That you want to hit the ding for every time you make that joke?
Probably.
but I think he was like their senior game designer at one point. But he now has his own Asmodee umbrella called Unexpected Games, a new studio for him. And it looks like their first title is called The Initiative, which was supposed to originally be out in 2020, and then now scheduled for release in Q2 2021. 1 to 4 player cooperative game that's unlike anything he's done previously. That's saying a lot because he's done a lot. Unique of story, strategy, and code breaking lets players take on the role of teenagers in '94 who have found a mysterious board game called The Key. So not only will they play The Key, but they will help the teens through a pivotal chapter of their lives by following a series of missions linked together via interactive comic book. So it's a board game about playing a board game.
Hey, it's Millennium Blades.
It's interesting, and I'm definitely interested in just the fact that I've become more into cooperative games than I have just straight 'em up kind of you versus me games.
Okay, yeah.
Just because there's usually a lot of cool storytelling bits in there for that you always seem to get more storytelling in the cooperative games than you do in
you definitely do.
And then like the me versus you games. Although I keep hearing, because there's a new the Anachrony is a board game that comes out from Mind Clash Games, and it's like a time travel ish futuristic game. Okay. And I kind of want to try it, but it's super heavy, so I don't want to buy it.
Right.
Because that could easily be outside my realm. But one of the key things is you can borrow resources from the future. So you go into this area and time travel to the future and take these resources, but at some point later in the game, you have to go back and come
across that area.
You have to give those resources back basically, or you create these time paradox things.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's super cool. And then lastly for you, it might be hard, but I don't know if you'll be able to find the origin of this pun. And that is Origins Game Fair is getting pushed back until fall. That
I think I did. I think I saw that one floating around. Something else I was looking at.
Yeah, it's really weird. If you
it was in the Gen Con group. Someone was talking about Origins.
Yeah, well, because this was another one of was kind of announced at the same time, but a lot of conventions are pushing to fall, and so there's three big conventions. I want to say it's UK Game Expo. There's something else, and Gen Con are all back to back to back weekends. And then with this being September 30th, that's only 3 or 4 weekends later.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I want to be hopeful, but I'm really thinking that con's not happening in 2021. That they probably shouldn't happen, just because I just all it takes is one,
It and you're not wrong. It does. It takes. That's
even,
and that's just with a lot of things in life. It just takes one bad apple.
Yeah, and it also comes down to the if you think about just the numbers, if you think about
just you use the law of big numbers, something's going to happen.
Well, yeah, but also it's
65,000 people gathering in the same spot.
65. Well, let's stick with 60 so that the numbers are easy to do math. 60,000 people. Even if every single one of those people had a vaccine, which by itself is I have people that are just straight up no, I'm not getting the vaccine. Okay. But assuming every single one of those 60,000 people get the vaccine, while good, is only 95% effective. So that's still 2,000 people getting COVID from that type of event. Mm-hmm. And that's your best case scenario. So I feel like it's going to be one of those, everyone's going to put it off, and then either they're going to keep it, in which case they've put off so much planning that it's going to suck.
Oh, yeah.
Or they just cancel, and then it's we got excited for nothing, and then it's no, we should have. I feel like local cons could come back this year.
They it could.
starting in the summer, like all your like 1,000 and below.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, I'll just be glad for when I can game in person again.
Yes.
I'll be ready for that.
Like, not have any worry of like, I'm just gonna barge into your house and we're gonna start playing games one day.
Yeah. Also, more like, hey, I'd like to socialize with people. But the games are cool. The games are cool too, but
yes, like let's. Okay, someone's gonna have to be stuck in their house, but the rest of us are gonna come be stuck in your house with you for at least the next 6 hours, and we're all having a giant whiskey.
Looks like some people are staying a lot longer than 6 hours. Then, if we're breaking out the alcohol.
I mean, you have it right away.
Speaking of which, I gotta throw. So we're moving a lot of stuff and organizing a lot of things. Like if I turned the camera around once again, this room always seems to be like the dump area for like whenever we're doing stuff. Like it's the nexus for stuff piles up here until I can sort it out into the various rooms for storage that it goes to.
Yeah.
But so I was cleaning out one of the rooms and making space on some bookshelves to like shove them full of comics to get them out of the room where Chloe's doing her sewing stuff. And to give more space, I pulled out all my liquor bottles. And she's just like, that's a lot of liquor. Like, that kind of makes it seem like there's a problem. Like, no, that would only be a problem if those were empty.
Yeah.
Most of those have like been in those same levels for like 5 years because I don't drink socially. Or I mean, I only drink socially.
Right.
So, Philip, how's Netflix been? Have you found the end of Netflix yet?
I have not found the end of Netflix. I did find that a lot of stuff has moved around the different streaming services.
Yeah.
So, I really liked the show Flashpoint about the Canadian SWAT team that has Amy Jo Johnson on it.
Oh, I think you mentioned this before.
Yeah. Great show. It's on CBS All Access now. So I was like, oh, hey, sweet. Let me start watching that again. I have not started a rerun of The West Wing during this whole ordeal. I'm actually very proud of myself on that.
Oh my gosh. I've been stuck having to watch Friends like multiple times because Ashley and Chloe went through it and then decided to go through it again. So they just like, it's like background material. Like they just having it on in the background.
Yeah, I can see that. I did that with The West Wing for the longest time. I mean, there were certain episodes where it's like, yep, nope, this episode has my attention.
I mean, that's Letterkenny for me.
Oh yeah, that was this last season. Man.
I know, it was a dud. That was a dud.
Like there was some stuff that hit and I liked it. Like the first episode, the opening of the first episode where they were like, "Oh, what's this? Only 3 guys. Well, bring some more guys. It'll be a fair fight." I mean,
but gaming
it was also kind of cool to see the I don't have no, I'm gonna get the actor's name because I don't want to get us canceled for me being dumb and like just giving the man's like ethnic description as the only thing I have of him. But so one of the guys who was part of the like the 3 Canadian Army guys that showed up.
Yeah.
He was in a show called Dark Matter.
Oh,
so
that show.
Cool. Yeah. So it was kind of cool seeing a big name probably actor like just show up in Letterkenny for like an episode or 2. I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool.
Speaking of which, I got to look something up because there's I heard a rumor that yes, so it is. So the actor that plays Riley is like one of the coaches on the new Mighty Ducks series.
Yes, I saw that. I did see
like
that.
How perfect is that?
Cool. Okay, so the actor's name is Alex Malari Jr. Yes.
So, have you had any?
But yeah, it's cool to see them like branch out into other because Michelle Milet, Katie,
Yep.
she was on a 3-part sci-fi miniseries called Ascension. Like that's where I first saw her.
Oh, is that the one where like it was about the ship in space, but apparently wasn't about a ship in space because it turns out
Yes.
they weren't a ship in space.
They weren't actually in space. I maybe within like the next few years, because the show starts on like the 51st year of their voyage.
Mm-hmm.
I want like in the next few years, I want a follow-on series of like, okay, shit, it's been 100 years. They need to land at some point.
Oh,
How
what do we do now? Oh man, there's turbulence on the planet. You guys got to go in your pods to get there.
That's right. That's right. Oops. Turns out this planet's already occupied.
Turns out your ship accidentally went back to Earth. We call this the Planet of the Apes syndrome. So, why you been on your back? Have you had any chance to play any games? You got that
Gundam.
tablet. You got that fancy tablet.
I do have that fancy tablet, and I did. So one of the first things I did when I got that fancy tablet was I went through to all the games on my phone that I could link to, at least link them to Facebook, because I know Google and Apple don't really like to share the store information.
Yeah.
So if I could link them via Facebook or via their own, like whatever company's website, I moved most of those games off my phone onto the tablet. And then that was as far as I got. I did download my entire Kindle library onto the tablet, though.
And it took up like 1 gigabyte.
It not yet. I'm not there yet. Well, because as we were talking, because I had mentioned Myst, there were a series of like in-universe Myst books, like about the actual like creation of the books in Myst, and like there was a whole thing going on. None of them are on Kindle.
Aww.
Which is a little aggravating.
Well, as we've been getting into our World of Warcraft obsession, Ashley and I were like, hey, we should like do, because they've been wanting to do like a book club kind of thing where we all read the same book, but it's like finding a type of book that we'll all enjoy reading is a little trouble because they like different things than I do. Nothing wrong with that, but she was like, oh, we should like read the World of Warcraft books, because I've read like a couple of them and they're really good. And then just giving us background on the lore and stuff. But so since she primarily reads books through listening to audiobooks, so and then we found the first book. It's like War of the Ancients, like the Well of Eternity or something like that, at like the local used bookstore. I haven't had a chance to actually read because I just haven't read. And I was trying to figure out, am I going to listen to it with like, are we going to put that on in the background and watch or listen to that while we do other things? Or do I want to just read the book? Trying to figure it out. So, but one of the things I had an idea, and we had talked about it briefly, and so I'll bring it up here to kind of peer pressure you.
Oh, you still with me?
Yep, you there? Can you hear me?
Oh, okay, you're back now.
I'm back. Okay, what'd you last hear? Uh-oh.
Yep.
You there?
I'm here.
Okay. I said, what did you last hear?
Oh, okay. We're back now.
Okay.
I swear to God, if this thing blue screens on me.
It's like, no podcast for you.
Right?
What was the last thing you heard?
You were getting So Ashley listens to the books on audio, and
Oh,
then
okay.
you said you were getting into books, and that was what stopped.
Okay. But well, anyways, moving on. One of the things that the idea that is board gaming wise, and we had talked about it, but I'll bring it up here just to peer pressure you. Is we talked about starting to focus on a couple of board game apps and then like playing like one in between episodes a couple of times, and then talking about it.
Okay.
And then I think, like I said, the one I want to start with is the Small World app because
Yep, and I did pull that onto the tablet.
yeah, mainly because I have Small World of Warcraft, and so I want to get refreshed on that game so that it'd be easier to play that version. So yeah, we're gonna be playing Small World. If anybody wants to play games with us, then let us know, and hopefully we'll be back. I think we'll probably talk about it on the off episode, so that gives us like a month to play it a bunch.
Yeah,
like when we don't have a guest here to talk about their stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then I think it's time for me to talk World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
So I'm gonna forgive everybody now. I'm not gonna get. I'll try not to get super deep into it. But
no way, man. Dive in.
Well, yeah, but I know like not everybody's gonna care. But so World of Warcraft just launched an expansion at the end of last year, the Shadowlands, and I've been avoiding it, and I've been avoiding WoW because I knew it was a time suck, like it is. But between like just getting
Chris starts playing, he comes up with a bigger beard. What year is it?
So between like, just reaching that point of the pandemic and just wanting to tune out, and also like I kept hearing one of these other board game podcasts I listened to, My High Game Guys, they were talking about it, and I was like, oh, that sounds really good, and I really want to play. And then it was like, hey, family, let's all play World of Warcraft again. And they're like, okay, let's do it. And then they didn't play as much, and I just went all in. Like at first it was like, oh, well, we don't need the expansion because they did this whole level squish thing, and now my like level 100, 110 characters are like 35 and 40. And the max level before you even get to the expansion is 50. So we got plenty of...
They did a condensing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's actually... There's a lot of really cool features in here that I kind of wish had been there from the beginning. But, so, yeah. After about a week, I already had gotten everybody... Actually, it was only like three days or so I got my character up to where I needed the expansion. So it's like, okay, well, I'll just get the expansion, and then I get a max level character, and then I'm leveling with Chloe, and that's where I was talking about that we started doing like every day after dinner, we'd sit down and play, and then it got to the point where she needed the expansion. So, but yeah, there's a lot of... So I have not played since Warlords of Draenor, which was 2 expansions ago.
Oh yeah.
So
that's where I stopped too.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed. So first of all, they have this thing called Party Sync, which is when you get into a party, you click this button and it auto adjusts everybody's level to be around the same range.
Okay.
Not only that, it gives you like the quests that other people are on, or allows you to share them even if you've already done them or not eligible for the quests, so that everybody can be doing the same type of stuff.
That's good.
Yeah. So, but it sets everybody at that level. So it's really easy to do group questing together. It gets a little tricky once you get towards the higher level stuff in Shadowlands, but as far as like your base game stuff, it works really well. Also, because of the level squish, some zones only have like like if you kept the levels the same, some zones would only be like 1 or 2 levels of content.
Oh, wow.
Well, because of, like this was 5, this was, you went here for these 5 levels. Well, now we've squished them. So that's like...
It's like 1 or 2.
1 or 2. So that's not really a thing. So what happens is you quest in like your starting area up to 10. And then pretty much after that, between 10 and 50, you can go anywhere and just do
Okay.
the quests and it's called this thing. It's like Chromie time, which is this. Chromie's one of the dragons. That's the master of like the time stream or whatever.
Master of time stream.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is you enable this, and whatever level you are, wherever you want to go will adjust to your level.
Okay.
So, like, I was doing some of the later expansions that were, my character was the appropriate level for because I was already max level at the time, and I was seeing like level 25 people running around. So those two things, like, man, I really wish this had been a thing way back when, because so many times, like, I wouldn't be able to play as much as like friends in college, and they'd get super far ahead, and I couldn't quest with them because I was so far behind, and they didn't want to help me because I wasn't getting. They wouldn't get experience. Oh, that's the other thing is if you're a higher level and you're doing this party sync thing, you're still getting your level amount of experience. So like you can actually level by helping your like lower level friends level.
So that's not to diss WoW for showing up late to the party with this.
Oh yeah, that's I understand.
That's like been a thing in Star Trek Online for a while.
Yeah, and like I told this to my brother. I was talking to him like, oh yeah, that's like something Elder Scrolls Online is like the you can go anywhere and it adjusts your level. They're like, oh yeah, Elder Scrolls has been doing that forever. And I'm like, yes, I realized that like WoW is like the Apple of MMOs. Like they claim to be like they're innovative and that they do things that are already out there a little bit differently.
Oh, is this me or is this you?
What? Are you dropped again?
So I'm showing green bars, 15 millisecond ping on my Discord.
I mean, I'm showing. Wait, where do you see the? I don't know. Do you want me to end the call and start it back up and see if that?
Because I got nothing running in the background of my computer.
I mean, I do,
off.
but.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's also. But I'm also not getting any issues with like any of my other windows are aggravating.
I mean, it could just be your network.
Oh, not sure your YouTube connection is working. I was watching over there and tried to comment. Awesome, missed books, and it kept saying error.
Where was this at?
This is in Twitch.
Oh, I didn't see the.
Yeah, because the last thing in the chat is teacher from Dan.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because the chat didn't say the chat was all quirky. Pulling up the Twitch dashboard to see. This is also very entertaining here.
This is what happens when we do it live, folks.
Yep, there's the thing. I was watching over there and tried to comment about the awesome misspoke. Okay, I see that comment now.
Yeah.
Could be any number of things. But it may be kind of hard to watch. Hard to fix. It may be hard to fix on the backside.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. So it even it had an issue with my very first comment I tried to put in the YouTube.
Oh, chat. So it just might be YouTube in general.
It could just be YouTube in general at the moment.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got the YouTube chat open, so I can at least see it now. All right. What was I talking about? Hey, I'm just going to blame any errors on the fact that it's been a month.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It's been a while. That and the fact of we switched up some services and stuff, so.
Oh, that's right.
I'll have to check Facebook.
There's a checkbox hidden so far deep in the settings menu you'd never think to look for it.
That always seems to happen.
That's all. I mean, that happens with this stuff. It happens at work so much. And there's some things. I get why companies do this. Mm-hmm. They disable a whole bunch of settings in the work computers And I get why they do that because they don't need us screwing around in there.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's a little annoying when it's like, okay, I just need access to the control panel for like 20 seconds and I can
Oh
fix
yeah.
this. I know exactly how to do this. But I got to call someone in Arizona to remote into the computer. 20 seconds later, hey, we're back up and running. Okay, thanks.
Yep. Just like I've had issues with like software that needs to do updates, but it only will do updates if you can run it as administrator. So it's like, hey, need you to just right click this and hit run it as administrator.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks.
And then you get that text message a couple days later. How would you rate your call with the
Or it's yeah. So speaking of, so go back to World of Warcraft, but like, so those are a lot of the mechanical things that have been happening in the background, but like the story is really good I mean, it's good several times, but like this is one of those that like it reminds me of like Miss Pandaria, how just like I'm following the story and like making sure you do the story quests and such.
Okay.
So it's like, so what happens is Sylvanas, the leader of the undead, goes bananas. Like around like the end of Legion or around.
I'm sorry, wait. Goes bananas.
Goes more bananas.
Okay, all right, more.
Because so she becomes war chief of the Horde, right? And that's where like Battle for Azeroth is a lot of her pushing all this war and stuff. And you come to find out why is basically she just wants a lot of people to die. And
so she can have a giant army. Yeah.
No, not that. Like we're talking people die, not come back.
Oh.
So she just wants a lot of people to die. Come to find out why, like it gets to one point where, like one of the Horde people challenges her, and then she's at some point she just like is heard saying like she gets pissed off and like I don't care about your Horde or whatever, and then everybody's like, oh my god! So she runs away. And then she goes to Ice Crown Citadel, where the Bolivar, the guy that's like, there must always be a Lich King, so that all these things don't go
right. The guy who froze himself.
Yeah. Well, she challenges him, and at first he's like holding his own, but then she gets like super powerful from out of nowhere, and just like chains him down, and then like grabs the helm off of him, and he's all like, "Oh, that power will be your prison," and she's like, "This world is a prison," and just rips the helmet apart instead, and there's just this massive explosion that rips a hole in the sky and basically like opens the world between the Azeroth and the afterlife, basically. And you come so then like all these like winged creatures come down, start grabbing like all the leaders of the Alliance and the Horde and taking them away. So you end up having to follow, and you come to find out that the way the afterlife in the World of Warcraft universe, the way the afterlife works is there's this city called Oribos, and all the souls get funneled through Oribos, and there's this guy that there's a person there that basically sends like judges your soul and sends everybody to the proper afterlife. Like,
gotcha.
And then like you see like a handful of them there. Like one of the places is called like Ardenwell, which is if you were all nature, you get to go there, and you know what? You may end up getting reborn as something else, but like you get to take care of you did good, so here you get to take care of more nature stuff. There's one that's like if you were an honorable soldier or whatever, then you go to this place called Bastion, and you get to train to become the people that like carry souls to, Oribos and all this.
Oh, so like analogous to Valkyries?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they look very much Valkyrie. And then there's this place called Maldraxxus, which is basically like the Shadowlands is the afterlife, basically. That's what they're called. So the Maldraxxus is like the army for the Shadowlands. So like their job is to keep everything defended and everything in balance, kind of thing. So if you were just like, conquest soldiery kind of person, you go there. If you were a soul that like you did bad stuff, but people think you can be redeemed, you go to this place called Revendreth. That's basically like British vampires. And the idea being is like your soul gets tortured until you confront your sins, and then you get purified, kind of thing.
All right.
However, all the really, really bad people that like no redemption, everyone, you're like fundamentally bad, you get sent to this place called the Maw, which is basically hell. And it's like this inescapable place. Like everybody that gets sent there never comes out. Like it's just this black hole of evil. Well,
let me guess, that's the first place she went to, wasn't it?
Well, what happens is somebody messed something up, and all the souls are going into the Maw instead.
Oh,
like they're not even going. They're just bypassing straight. They're just going straight.
They're not even
through,
going through sorting.
They're going through Ouroboros, but they're not even getting sorted. They're just funneling straight into the Maw. And the problem is the souls are also like power, like fuel. Like they have this energy called like anima that helps fuel the afterlife. So all these other realms are being devoid of this life, basically. Meanwhile, the Maw and the jailer that occupies it are just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. This is why Sylvanas wanted to just kill a bunch. She just wanted a bunch of people to die because it's more souls getting funneled into the Maw. So you have to go into the Maw, and then you magically are able to escape because that's like the first set of missions, and then you have to go around the Shadowlands being like, what the heck's going on here? But it's a really sweet story. And one of the other cool things is when you get to 60, you get to choose a covenant, which is, okay, you've been to all these different places. Which side are you allying yourself with? And then that gives you a separate set of campaign quests once you hit 60. Okay. That furthers the story in that direction even more. But it also gets you like a set of gear that like you can upgrade as you get a different piece. They get higher and higher level, and you can upgrade all the other lower bits, so that when you finish the quest line, you have like epic level gear that you could then go do raids with.
Oh, cool.
So that was really cool because, like, you know, a lot of times it was like, okay, I finished questing. Well, now I need to go do heroics until I have a big enough dungeons to do all that stuff. But
so speaking of dungeons and raids, did they so I remember when I was running around with my with my Death Knight at level 100, and it was like, oh, here's this level 40 like 40-man raid. Let me go solo it. Can you still do that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah. Like one of the things we did, I was doing even when my character was like level 40, is we went and did a bunch of like the Lich King fights to try and unlock all the achievements.
Right.
So yeah, you can still do that.
Okay. All right, cool. Because that was fun.
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, back when the game first came out, this took 40 people to finish. I'm gonna do it single.
But they also have this. They also have this cool thing. They have like the every now and then they'll have an event called Time Walking, where you can earn badges towards special loot. By you queue up in the dungeon finder for old dungeons, and it'll scale you down to those dungeons. Like a couple weeks ago, it was like the Cataclysm week. So like you got quests that gave you money and stuff, and other kinds of like level appropriate loot, but it sent you back to doing old dungeons.
Okay. I do remember seeing that on, because I still follow Warcraft on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, I probably did like the announcement when it was that week.
Yeah.
So yeah, but so that was a lot of cool things. I'll try not to. I could spend an hour talking about World of Warcraft, and maybe we will.
I mean, you're over here talking about this story, and I'm just like, man, my wallet's cussing me out right now, dude.
I had my bank account, or my bank was like, because like I had to sign in, you know, I was putting everybody on the same credit card, so I had 3 separate $15 charges, and my bank was like, "Did you authorize this?"
You're like, "Hey there, buddy, did you?" Oh, you gotta be careful with some of those text messages because
No, this one
one
was
of my
one like you had to actually go to the app
oh,
and
you had to go
click.
to the app.
You had to go to the app and say, "Yes, I did this."
So I had to call my credit card company one day because I had done a couple of charges on it and they went through perfectly fine. And then I went to dinner and
Hmm.
I paid with the same credit card. And um the day before, actually the day before I had made a charge and it sent me the message of like, "Hey, did you make this charge? Send back yes if you did and no if you didn't." And I was like, okay, sure. So I sent back, yes, I made the charge. Everything was fine. Next day, I'm doing stuff. I go to dinner. I get the same message again, but they flipped it.
Oh no!
The like, yes, if you want us to lock your card,
Oh no!
no, if your card is
And you
fine.
hit yes.
I just typed in yes because I was like, oh, same message, whatever. And all of a sudden, it's like, oops. As soon as I hit send, I actually read the text message. It's like, oh God, no.
I mean, no.
So I had to call them up, and they were like, "All right, did you?" I'm like, "Yes, I was just at dinner. Can we hurry up so the waitress doesn't think I'm an ass?"
Hey man, there's all this cool stuff now.
Yeah, there's all the cool stuff.
Well,
I there's a lot of things that like I missed just because of I mean, yeah, I wasn't playing. I was playing other things, and but looking at like the battle for Ogremar,
yeah.
like
Oh yeah,
that.
like if you go to Undercity now, it's
Uh-huh.
demolished. Like there is no Undercity.
Oh,
Like it's just this mist of green, and you can even see like this line in the dirt of like this burned in kind of thing. In fact, if
that
you
was
want
the horde area over
the other continent, yeah,
on Eastern.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
Kalimdor, Eastern
Oh,
Kingdoms, and Kalimdor. Or no,
Eastern
Eastern
Kingdom.
Kingdoms. Yes, it was on the eastern side. Yes,
Yeah, because that was mainly the Alliance side.
yeah,
Yeah.
but one of the things is like if you need to do stuff in there, there's a guy you can go to that's like, hey, I want to see what Undercity was like back in the day, and you click him and he puts you in a new phase of like old Undercity.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, also it's really cool because the guild. Were you in AIE?
Yes, I'm still in AIE on Star Trek Online, but I'm pretty
Ah,
certain they kicked me out of
yeah, they
um
they kick you out to keep
the World of Warcraft one.
yeah, they keep everything fresh for because they got limits on how many people can be in each guild.
Oh yeah, which I mean I completely understand.
Yeah. But so I was able because it's really easy to get back in. You just message an officer and be like, "Hey, I was in. Can I get back in?"
Yep.
But they have this thing that's on because that's the thing. Is like I never did raids unless it's like what you did, where what we were talking about, where you went back and did old raids. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I fought the Lich King, and that was it. But that was
Yep.
also like 6 months after it came out, and like everybody was over geared, and just somebody in chat was like, "Hey, we got 2 openings," and me and Ashley jumped in and killed the Lich King.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it was just like, sit over here and just do your thing, kind of like,
Spam heals or spam AOE, and
yeah,
just you're good to
exactly.
go.
But so I've never really been a rate because it's usually just like a big commitment, and like with the family and stuff, it's just hard, and making sure and playing a lot. It's just a lot. It demands a lot. Well, the guild has this thing now on Saturday nights that they call Noob Raid, and it's just all it is you just sign up and they walk you through every fight. They tell you how each boss is going to go. Like you don't have to go do a bunch of research on how each thing it is. You just show up. You have to have a certain gear score because they use the looking for raid system.
Okay.
That's how they because it's if by doing that it makes a quote unquote easier version of the raid, and it
Okay.
also
That's good.
automatically summons everybody there.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah, and by doing that, that means to use that system you have to have a certain gear score. So that's like the only requirement. So last night I stayed up and was able to raid.
Cool.
I died like half the time, but
That's half the fun.
uh,
You just get one of the healers to bring you back to life, and
Hey, yeah. So that was fun. Um, there's definitely like that. There was kind of like this rush of like, oh, I want to be able to do this thing, and then now I'm like, whew, now I can kind of breathe, and maybe I don't need to play as much. But then again, there's other things that you can do once you hit the raids because it's like, oh, cool, I'm only one raid boss away from unlocking this other thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just do the LFR just to do the get in a random group just to kill one more boss.
Mm-hmm. I did that with some lava pit raid.
I wouldn't even
dungeon?
know because that was back when I don't even remember what the rates were for like.
He always drops something called like the Eye of
Molten Core.
Ragnar. Molten Core,
Yeah. Okay.
I ran that one like 6 times in a row with my level 100 Death Knight.
Nice.
Also, I there was something in the what's the Lich King area? The
Ice Crown?
Ice Crown?
Yeah.
I got some achievement because I soloed that one. It was like defeat the 6 bosses within half an hour
Oh yeah.
or something. And I was like, oh yeah, that was kind of easy.
And then you get the other if you switch it to like from a 20 man to a 10 to like a 10 man.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because you could have the different level. Yeah.
So I'm telling you, man.
Shut up.
I just it's no other like MMO. I saw a post of mine from a couple years ago where I was playing Guild Wars 2, and it's just like there are games that you play, and then there are games like WoW that just like grab you and just won't let go, and it's just like you're going to enjoy this.
You're over here talking about the story and all this stuff, and I'm just like, and then the way my brain works, the card that I would use to like activate and purchase all this stuff, it's saved in my Google account, and I know the security code by heart because that's what it's going to ask me for to autofill it.
Yeah. But the good news is you'll have like, 10 to 15 levels worth of content to play before.
At least before I cap out.
Yeah. Before you need to have the Shadowland stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Can we do Pandaren Death Knights yet?
I don't know because they added a bunch of. There's also new races and stuff now.
Oh yeah, because I know you can do the who was the blind guy?
Right. There's demon hunters.
Yeah, you can be those.
Yeah. Illidan. That was the blind guy.
Yeah.
We started we started Demon Hunters to play together, and then Ashley hasn't been playing as much because she's been sick, and that was like, well, we're all playing this together, so.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Chloe had played her. She had a boosted because like she had used it from when she actually had Legion, one of the expansion after, and she had been playing by herself.
Okay.
So she had a token, and so she had like a level 40 Death Knight or a Demon Hunter. And so she was playing, and that's her quote unquote main now. And she's actually getting level. They've never had max level characters. Like Chloe's never had max level characters, but now she's like really close. She's at like level 53, 52 out of 60. And for the first time, I took her through a dungeon because in the past she had always been like, a preteen, like last time we were playing it, she was between 7 and 12.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not really comfortable. Plus there's a lot going on. She's not going to understand. Mm-hmm. So we had never done that, but now we were to the point. It's like, hey, you want to try a dungeon? And she's like, what's okay. And so we were both DPS, and we queued up in the dungeon finder, play that. And she's like, that was a lot of fun. And I'm like, yep. So we've done a couple of dungeon runs as well through that.
I remember that day she got snippy with me, so I PvP'd her.
You like challenged her to a duel?
Oh yeah, like she was getting super because we were all in your living room.
Yeah. Was that the time? It was like New Year's Eve, and we were all playing WoW in the living room.
Yeah, she got super snippy over something. I was like, all right, you know what? Accept that pop-up that just came up on your screen. Smack. And you're down.
That was like what we were playing. That reminds me of when we were playing Minecraft once, and we have like the cheats on that allow you to like teleport to people. And I stood. You know how like you could hold you could hold like shift or control or whatever, and like be right on the edge, so you're technically over the edge, but like it won't let you fall. So I did that and locked myself there, and then she was being she was being just giving me grief. She was being grief about stuff, and so I teleported her to my location. But since I was over the thing, it just dropped her straight into lava. I'm like, oh well.
Yeah, I remember I had to because I tried playing it with you guys, and I had to very quickly learn how to not kick myself over the edge.
Yeah,
because you gave me like a full set of diamond everything, and I was like, oh, what button do you hit to not do this? As I was walking toward the lava, and now all that diamond stuff is just under the lava.
All right. Well, we can maybe save more of that talk for the bonus bits, but before we get to some feedback, because we did have some, I want to say shout out
feedback?
To yes.
Record more. Is that the feedback?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me pull up some more of that. Trying to find. Okay. Just to say, let me try that again. Just wanted to say, make sure you go check out patreon.com/boards and swords if you like this stuff and you want to get all the extra content. For instance, we just had a new patron, Michael Hargis, just joined. So thank you, Michael. He sent us an email for like the contest that I'm still going to send stuff out for here soon.
All right.
So he sent in an email for the contest, and he was like, "Oh, it'd be really great to hear you talk about like comics and other games and stuff you want to talk about." And I'm like, "Well, I hate to." And we were talking about other things because he had some gaming related questions. I was like, "That's good topics for me to think about for the future." And then we were chatting, and he was that's when he mentioned this, and I was like, "Well, I hate to throw a Patreon plug in here, but for $1 a month, you might be getting what you want."
Yeah.
And then he went and backed. So I was like, well, let me know if there's not what you wanted, because we could always talk about other things.
Exactly. We're easy.
That's even on the thing.
That's yeah. Okay, I'm gonna label it. How do I label stuff?
I don't know. I'm sold. I'm easy. There you go.
All right, there we go.
All right. So with that in mind, one thing we're trying to do is incorporate more listener feedback into the show. So if you've got something you want to let us know about, is something you want us to hear us talk about, feedback@boardsandswords.com, or find the post on Facebook when I send it out asking for stuff. I've got a couple things here. So actually, our friend Heather responded to one of them. This was when we thought I was going to have Corey and Jimmy on, but it's still a valid question. She wants to know what our thoughts are when we do or when we create characters in RPGs. Kind of like when we're making our player characters, what's our inspiration, our creative process for designing them, greatest hits and fails, etc.
Let me see if that website's still active.
Oh, is that what the F is my?
Yeah. dndcharacter.com. It's still active. So if you go to www.whothefismydndcharacter.com, and the F is spelled out properly, you get a
randomized concept.
It just respectful. So you think your character is cool? My character is an effing respectful elf druid from a pompous wizard school who carries a cryptic treasure map they won in a tavern bet.
So do you use that?
I think we used that one time as a joke for some throwaway characters. So my thought process behind stuff now is like I'll go in and like we do the session 0 with the group and all that kind of stuff. Um, uh, and that's just because of like my comfort level with the group. I mean, God, you remember when I first started out, I built that one character for that 4th edition campaign we were doing.
Yep.
And then Chris is like, all right, here's your backstory. And then he sat me down in the room. Everyone's like, hey, who are you? And I'm like,
That was also when you weren't as comfortable with role playing. Like,
yeah.
I just want to roll
Oh,
dice and
God.
fight stuff.
Yes. And that was still the best when everyone just gave me that look. I'm like, I hit it with my axe. And like, really?
Yeah, because at 4th edition, you didn't just hit it with your axe. You're like, I'm going to cleave it or bludgeon it, or
Yeah.
you got all those powers
use-
there. Don't you use one of those?
Yeah, I'm gonna use one of my basically cantrips
Yeah.
for attacking. It's now we try to do a lot of funny stuff.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, we'll play some serious roles and all that kind of, or like you try to play the game so you're like, all right, I'm a soldier, I'm gonna be serious. But then it's like, let's throw a little humor in there. Just to make everything laugh. Or I try to do some min-maxing like Chris does.
I'm usually no good at that. For me, it's usually one of two things. It's either finding a quirky concept like you're talking about, where it's just a weird quirky concept, or it's based on like what haven't I played that would be kind of cool to try out, or B, uh, what media am I obsessed with, and I want to replicate that in like D&D or something. Like when I made Sarav, I was binging Arrow, so it was like, well, I'm gonna make like the Arrow in D&D.
Yeah. So the one thing I do always incorporate is how many legal game-breaking rules can I combine into one character?
I think that goes with the min-maxing.
That's so. But that was the whole when we did like the A-Team one.
Yep.
With my Wookiee. I mean, I sent, because Randy ran that one for us, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, and I sent him all the stuff, and I was like, hey man, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? And he was like, yes, 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 yes. And I was like, dude, you messed up.
You done messed up.
You messed up.
You done messed
man.
up.
I mean, my Wookiee's carrying around a bowcaster that basically outputs a ship-sized turbo laser every shot. I had the only kills of the game just because the guys kept vaporizing.
That was an example where it's like we had a concept as a girl, like, hey, what if we had the A-Team in Star Wars? But then it was easy to make a character.
Yeah, that's right.
Which probably Scratch is one of my favorite characters I've ever done.
Scratch was great.
That was so much fun. In our more recent Star Wars game, we were
deploy
kind
the landing gear. Retract the landing gear.
No, it was retract the landing gear. I only want to retract one of the landing gear so that the chip rocks. But like in our more recent one, we were talking and trying to come up with like concepts, and I had the idea of like, what if I had like a racer type aspect, but it's a woman, and while she's super good at racing, she's kind of like outside of that. She's kind of trying to think of the right word, frat girly-ish.
Okay.
So it's just kind of combining some stereotypes and archetypes together. So where she's kind of, well, I guess she wasn't really. I don't remember exactly. She was really good.
Was this the campaign we did when all this started?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, where like she's super good at the racing part, but then she was like a drunk basically. And just like one of those, I'm going to go do whatever I want kind of things. But it was one of those like to the point where she's probably better driving when she's drunk.
Exactly.
So always just like weird, quirky concepts like that. Trying to think failures.
The very first Star Wars guy I played with the group. Yeah, that guy was like that was just my whole like comfort level of role playing.
Yeah.
Because Chris's character shoved me out of an airlock.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't know about characters I've made necessarily that were failures, but like games I've been in where I've run the games, and like the Fate game that we played back when we first started the podcast, and we didn't do any talking between us, and so it was like a bunch of people that really shouldn't have been together. That was kind of a miss. Yeah, those are usually, it's like failures is like when just there wasn't enough planning and everybody kind of did their own thing, and you end up with like a whole bunch of people good at one thing and nobody's good at something else, which can be fun. I'm trying to think now. Any other like failures? I don't know. Maybe I'll come back to it.
There's a homebrew Gundam 5e skin.
Oh no. Well, I don't know how you feel about Blades in the Dark, but I backed a game that's basically Gundam and Blades in the Dark.
It's not my favorite system.
And I also got I backed the Stargate 5e skin.
Ooh.
So, moving on, I got some other word. Daniel, actually, I don't know if he's still on the stream, but Daniel sent us another message or another suggestion. Always loved when Data would play poker with famous scientists in the holodeck. Who would you pick to play a game with, and what game would it be?
Ooh. So the game's going to be Munchkin. God, who would I play that with? That'd be great.
I don't know, famous wise. Like, I know people. See, this is the wrong time to ask that because I'm like just friends.
Oh yeah.
I just would want to play with friends.
You would cave and play Munchkin, wouldn't you?
I mean, I would play. People. Yeah, if it got me out of the house, yeah, I would play.
Oh, have you seen the I don't know how much streaming you've been watching with commercials, but the Uber Eats where it's
oh yeah, a Picard
Mark Hamill versus Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
those would be two cool guys to play with.
You know, that would, it'd be funny playing a social deduction game with people like that, like people who are trained in acting.
Yes.
It would just be so weird to see. So, yeah, I think it's something like that where it's like Spyfall or something.
Yes. Is there a Star Trek Spyfall? Is there a Star Wars Spyfall?
Don't think so.
Why not? I mean, I know the IPs probably cost a bunch to license. But that's...
Because FFG didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Although now the minis license is now over with that other company that did Atomic Mass Games.
Play Star Wars Spyfall with all the captains from Star Trek universe.
Nice.
And play Star Trek Spyfall with a bunch of people from the Star Wars universe.
Nice. There you go. Jason asked us, he said, how do you feel about the new estimate on the predicted heat death of the universe?
Is it within the next 50 years?
Probably not.
Then I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Although I got to say, I don't know, given the way I'm getting to the point I'm getting tired. I haven't been posting as much on social media, and some of that's just because I get on and I just get kind of frustrated. I need to do...
Are we talking about the heat death of the universe, or are we talking about one of our world leaders pissing off one of the other world leaders and nuking the planet?
Oh, that's two different things. One, yes, would happen before the other.
Okay. What was that project in Doctor Who?
Oh, Ostenheimer Key.
Yeah, with the 25 nukes in
yeah. Osterhagen Key or something like that.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the comments and questions that we have. Yeah, like I said, I've been not as much on social media. A, because I've been obsessed with World of Warcraft, and B, just the creative energy to Like Twitter is fine where I can like text something, but like taking pictures and TikToks, I've just not been in the mood. Some of it's because the room's a mess here. And just some of it is, I don't know. I got to get more like hands-off social media where I just make stuff and post it up there, and I'll just reply to comments, but not reading anybody else's.
Yeah,
and
I'm just a lurker.
Yeah, that'll probably get me back in the mood. So that's I think it's time to roll that beautiful beam footage.
That wraps up this week's episode, everybody. If you love this show and you want to watch it live, we record every other when we get to it and get a proper schedule. My microphone's falling apart. You can check out boardsandswords.com/live. It's got the schedule and the links to all of the live streaming channels. You can check out boardsandswords.com. It'll have all the links for everything, and it also has a link to our other show that we might someday get back into going with, The Dirtbags of Holding. That's an RPG podcast where we take all of the world's best RPGs and mess them up.
That's right. Yeah, it'll come back someday. We just all need a creative recharge. You can email us comments and questions, stuff you want us to talk about on the show, feedback@boardsandswords.com. You got something that we said that you want us to talk more about or respond to, send it to us. We're also on social media, facebook.com/boardsandswordspod is our Facebook page. I'm at Boards and Swords on Twitter, and on Instagram as @BoardsSwordsChris.
You can find me on Twitter as Bill the Dirtbag.
This podcast is also a part of Punchboard Media. For other great gaming podcasts, make sure you go check out punchboardmedia.com. And thank you for listening, for watching. However, we enjoy entertaining you. Make sure you go check out patreon.com/boardsandswords to help support the show. We will be back at a regularly scheduled, not this coming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, with another episode, although we may switch to, we're teasing the option of switching to Sundays because this might be nice. Let us know. In the meantime, remember that every gamer has a story, and Philip just needs to stand up. Take a bow.
Stand up. Stand up. Wasn't that a song?
Every gamer has a story, and my wife just brought me cookies.
I want cookies. Ooh, Corey and Jimmy brought me cookies.
That they did.
I'm gonna go get cookies.
It's over. Woo! Thanks everybody for watching. It's time for me to cut the stream and for us to, oop, that's the wrong button. Hit that button. And for us to do some bonus bits talks. So thanks everybody for checking us out. It was a random